I'm Dr. Michael Kent. I've been practicing internal medicine for over 2 decades, and I've sat across from too many patients who received a serious diagnosis and asked me why nobody warned them sooner. I'm done staying quiet about this. Let's get into it. There are 5 specific foods that become genuinely dangerous when reheated, not in a theoretical, distant, maybe someday kind of way, but in a documented, chemically measurable way that has a direct connection to one of the deadliest cancers in modern medicine. Pancreatic cancer, 5-year survival rate under 12%. It doesn't warn you while it's building. It doesn't hurt while the damage accumulates. And the daily habits driving it look so ordinary that nobody questions them. The first food is anything that was fried, the leftover chicken thigh you covered in foil, the spring rolls in the corner of your fridge, the French fries you told yourself you'd finish tomorrow. When you reheat fried food, especially in oil, you trigger what's called oxidative degradation inside the cooking fat. The most common oils in people's kitchens right now, sunflower, corn, soybean, vegetable blends, are what scientists call polyunsaturated fats. They are highly unstable under high heat. Heat them a second time and they break down rapidly, releasing a class of toxic compounds called aldehydes. Specifically 4-hydroxynonenal and melandialdehyde. You don't need to memorize those names. You just need to understand what they do. They flood your bloodstream, they trigger a full inflammatory response in your body, and they concentrate in the organs most exposed to your digestive chemistry, including your pancreas. A pancreas working inside a sustained inflammatory environment is like a precision instrument factory running inside a building where someone has been slowly pumping smoke through the ventilation for 2 years. The machines keep running, the products keep coming out, but the error rate climbs, the damage accumulates, and one day something fails in a way that can't be fixed. The rule here is simple and non-negotiable. Never reheat fried food in oil, not fresh oil, not the same oil, never. Use a dry oven at 180 degrees Celsius or an air fryer. You get the texture back without generating a single additional aldehyde compound. And cooking oil is single-use only. Fry today, discard today. That's the rule, and it's not negotiable. The second food is leafy greens, spinach, kale, chard, arugula. I know how that sounds. I've been recommending leafy greens to patients for 20 years, and fresh, they are genuinely excellent. The problem is what happens when you cook them, let them sit, and then apply heat a second time. All leafy greens contain naturally occurring compounds called nitrates, harmless when fresh. But once you cook them and allow them to cool, bacteria naturally present in the food begin converting those nitrates into nitrites. Then when you apply heat a second time, those nitrites react with amino acids in the food and form compounds called nitrosamines. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies nitrosamines as probable human carcinogens. They are genotoxic, meaning they go directly inside the nucleus of your cells and damage the DNA instructions your body uses to regulate how cells grow and when they stop. The fix is genuinely simple. Eat your cooked greens cold. Cold-cooked spinach in a grain bowl, tossed into a salad, folded into a wrap. Every nutrient is still completely present. Zero nitrosamine formation because there's no second heat event. If you need them warm, cook only what you're eating right now, not a batch for the week, just this meal. The third food is rice. And this is the one that surprises my patients the most because it is the most innocent-looking food in existence. No strong smell, no unusual taste, no visible warning of any kind. But hidden inside rice that has been cooked and left to sit is a biological process that most people have never once been warned about. There is a bacterium called Bacillus cereus that is present in raw rice from any supermarket anywhere in the world. Cooking kills the active bacteria but does not kill the spores. A spore is a hardened biological survival structure designed to endure conditions that would destroy the bacteria themselves. Boiling water cannot touch them. Normal cooking temperatures cannot touch them. They sit completely dormant inside your perfectly cooked rice, invisible and undetectable by taste or smell, and they wait for the temperature to drop. The moment the temperature falls into their preferred range, which is exactly the temperature of your kitchen counter as that rice cools after cooking, those spores activate. They multiply. They produce toxins. And here is the detail that matters most. One of those toxins is heat stable. Your microwave kills any live bacteria remaining. But the toxin that was already produced while the rice was sitting at cooling temperature, that toxin survives reheating completely intact and enters your body in full working condition. Repeated low-level exposure to these toxins creates chronic low-grade inflammation throughout your digestive system. And because your gut and your pancreas share blood supply, lymphatic pathways, and inflammatory signaling, a persistently inflamed gut sends those signals directly to your pancreas every single time. Cool rice within 1 hour of cooking. Refrigerate it. Eat it within 24 hours. Reheat it once only, fully until steaming hot throughout. Then finish it completely. Those rules aren't complicated. They're just rules most people have never been told. The fourth food is chicken. Specifically, chicken reheated in a microwave. This one is about a feature of the microwave that most people are completely unaware of. A microwave doesn't heat food the way an oven does. It excites water molecules within the food to generate heat. But different sections of the same piece of chicken have different water content, different density, different fat distribution. Some areas reach temperatures that eliminate bacteria. Other areas just centimeters away stay at precisely the temperature where bacteria don't just survive, they actively multiply. These are called cold spots. You cannot see them, you cannot feel them from the outside. The exterior of the chicken can be scorching hot, while the interior sits at the ideal incubation temperature for Salmonella and Campylobacter, both of which are present in raw poultry at significant rates. And here's what I want you to understand beyond the obvious food poisoning risk. Repeated low-dose exposure, small enough not to knock you flat, but enough to keep your digestive system in a state of persistent low-grade activation, is the pattern that accumulates quietly over years into conditions your pancreas cannot escape. Use the oven. 175 degrees Celsius, covered tightly with foil, 15 to 20 minutes minimum. Even heat reaches every part. 0 cold spots. Or eat the chicken cold. Shred it into a salad, the problem is solved entirely. The fifth food is potatoes, and this one is unique because it carries two completely separate chemical dangers happening simultaneously from a single bowl of leftovers. The first danger, when starchy foods are exposed to temperatures above 120 degrees Celsius, a chemical reaction between naturally present sugars and amino acids produces a compound called acrylamide. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies acrylamide as a probable human carcinogen. Now here's what most people don't know. When a potato is cooked once and then refrigerated, its surface dries out and sugars concentrate there. When you apply high heat a second time, the chemical conditions for acrylamide formation are actually more favorable than during the original cooking. You may be getting a meaningfully higher carcinogen load from your reheated potatoes than from the original meal. The second danger, when potatoes are fully cooled in the refrigerator after cooking, the regular starch inside partially converts into resistant starch. A cold cooked potato is metabolically a completely different food than a hot one. It absorbs slowly, it moderates your blood sugar response, it feeds beneficial gut bacteria, it's protective. The moment you reheat that potato at high heat, that resistant starch reverts back to regular, rapidly digested starch. What was gentle on your blood sugar is now a spike. And who answers that spike? Your pancreas, specifically the beta cells responsible for producing insulin, forced into sudden, urgent production. Once completely normal. 3 times a week, every week for years, those beta cells get pushed toward exhaustion. And progressive beta cell exhaustion is a documented pathway toward the chronic conditions that precede pancreatic cancer. 2 attacks, same meal, every single time you reheat those potatoes. And if you're refrying them in leftover oil, you're stacking the dangers of food 1 and food 5 into one dish. Eat your cooked potatoes cold when you can. If you need them warm, use the lowest heat that simply takes the chill off. Warm, not hot, and never ever refry an already cooked potato. Now let me tell you how this story ends for Vincent. After that first appointment, we made 3 specific changes to his reheating habits. We switched him to dry oven reheating for all fried foods. We put a strict 24-hour rule on rice with rapid post-cooking cooling. And we retired the microwave for chicken entirely. That was it. 3 habit changes, not a new diet, not supplements, not anything exotic. Within about 7 weeks, his fatigue started to lift in a way he described as genuinely noticeable. The heaviness below his ribs after meals faded to almost nothing. When we retested his inflammation markers at the 3-month mark, they had come down to a range that, honestly, even I was pleased to see. He told me something at that follow-up that I want you to hear. He said, "I kept waiting for the big thing you were going to tell me to change. I didn't expect it to be something this ordinary." That's the thing about the habits that matter most. They rarely look dramatic. They just repeat, quietly, while nobody questions them. So here's what I want you to do. Starting tonight, open your fridge. Identify which of these 5 foods are in there right now waiting to be reheated. Fried food goes back into a dry oven or air fryer, never into oil. Leafy greens get eaten cold or cooked fresh right before eating. Rice follows the 24-hour rule with proper rapid cooling. Chicken goes in the oven with foil or gets eaten cold. Potatoes get eaten cold or warmed gently, never refried. Write the number of these foods currently in your fridge in the comments right now. I genuinely want to know. And if this video gave you something real today, something you didn't know before you pressed play, share it with one person you care about, your mother, your partner, your best friend who reheats rice every single day without a second thought. That share might be the most genuinely useful thing you do today. I'm Dr. Michael Kent. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.